Blazing a railroad through the Wind River Canyon in the early 1900s was essentially hand-painting a snake skeleton. Rugged crews, dynamite, burros, and sheer drop-offs that would make a circus tightrope look tame. Those hard-working souls carved tunnels out of granite with picks, shovels, and sweat, all while exotic voices from Swedish, Italian, and Japanese laborers echoed between canyon walls. The pioneers of outlaw country, cowboys, lawmen, and outlaws, to the businessmen and women who all helped shape Wyoming. Here are their stories. Blasting through the Wind River Canyon.
Welcome back, folks, to Pioneers of Outlaw Country, where we dig up the untamed stories that made Wyoming wild, unforgettable, and just a little bit outlaw. I'm your host, Jackie Dorothy, historian and journalist. As we celebrate one of Wyoming's most scenic drives, the Wind River Canyon Scenic Byway, it is in partnership with the Wyoming Department of Transportation and their Buckle Up campaign. So today, we're riding the rails into one of the boldest, most back-breaking engineering feats in Wyoming history, building the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad line through the Wind River Canyon and the heart of the Cowboy State. Now, if you've ever driven through the Wind River Canyon between the towns of Shoshone and Thermopolis, you know it's gorgeous. Towering granite cliffs, the river churning far below, eagles soaring high above. But in 1909, it wasn't a sightseeing route. It was pure misery. So let's rewind to the early 1900s. The Burlington Railroad had a dream: connect Billings, Montana to Casper, Wyoming. They'd already laid track as far as Kirby, just north of the Wind River Canyon. But the next 12 miles, that was the kicker. Enter MacArthur Brothers Construction Company out of New York City. I know what you're thinking. New York City? Just like those cowboys on that salsa commercial. They signed on to the challenge. What followed was 2 years of blasting, digging, back-breaking labor, and near miracles of early 20th century engineering. Between 2,000 and 5,000 men worked this job over its course. A roughneck army of Swedes, Italians, Japanese, and Americans, all driven by grit and a paycheck. Schaefer, a Nebraskan-born surveyor who later became a Burlington conductor, worked the canyon starting at age 21. And he remembered every inch of it, even at 91 years old. He called it, quote, real work. And I do mean real work. This was long before bulldozers and safety harnesses. Imagine climbing a vertical granite wall with nothing but a rope and a bundle of dynamite strapped to your back. That's what these men did, day in, day out. They blasted through rock, carved tunnels by hand, and hauled out the debris in wheelbarrows or on mule-drawn sleds. At the time, the Wind River Canyon was basically a slit in the mountains. No room for a railroad on either side of the river. The Burlington chose the west side, but it still had to be built up from nothing. Steep walls, no margin for error, and the river roaring right below. They used 200 burros to haul supplies. Picture this: burros ferrying gear over a swinging bridge made of cedar and juniper poles strung on 1.5-inch cables. The bridge swayed over the river like a slinky in a storm. Men weren't allowed to cross when the burros were on it, because more than a few had gotten tossed into the drink. Whether that's men or burros, we'll never know. And oh, those camps! Each camp had a pair of mules, a bullpen tent for sleeping, a cook tent, and you might have even had a makeshift hospital. Sundays were for laundry, half-soling your boots, or shaving, because as Harry Schaefer joked, believe it or not, we shaved once a week. They had bright spots too. A chef from the Brown Palace Hotel in Denver served up meals in a white jacket, even here in the middle of the Wyoming wilderness. There were celebrations too. One Washington's birthday, the engineers were giving a 2-day break and partying in Shoshone like railroad kings. But the good times didn't last. This was dangerous work. Accidents were common. Flooding, fires, and rock slides were a daily threat. At least 27 men were buried near the north end of the canyon. There were temporary cemeteries and makeshift hospitals at both ends of the canyon, and at least 27 men were buried near the north end of the canyon in a cemetery that you can still see from the highway. There was this one time when 5 men in Boston's chairs were pulled up a cliff face to plant dynamite. The entire rock face broke loose. 4 never made it down alive. And if that wasn't enough, the railroad men, they also had to deal with the Boysen Dam. As Miss Boysen had built a hydroelectric dam near the canyon's south entrance, just before the railroad survey began, it flooded the original track line, forcing engineers to relocate and to dig even higher into the canyon walls. 6 tunnels had to be blasted through the hardest granite imaginable. One tunnel was 742 feet long. They named these tunnels Black Tunnel, Twin Tunnels, and the Pink Tunnel. Then came the track lane. They called the lead car the Pioneer Car. It carried ties and steel. A mile of track was laid each day. It took a 10-hour shift, sometimes more. The rail laying crews had it down to a rhythm. 2 trips a day, all the way from Thermopolis and back, no matter the weather, rain, snow, or blistering sun. When the last spike was driven and the line crawled out of the South Canyon in 1911, there was no immediate train service. Not until October 13, 1913, did the first passenger train chug through the canyon. It must have felt like a thunderclap of progress. And it was. That railroad connected the Bighorn Basin to the rest of the state and the nation. It opened the region to agriculture, commerce, and tourism. Livestock, sugar beets, and oil could now move swiftly out. Travelers came to marvel at the canyon and its granite cathedrals. For years, there was even a scheduled stop in the canyon where passengers disembarked just to take it all in. I like to think that Harry Schaefer, by then a conductor, watched them with quiet satisfaction, knowing what it took to build that view. Today, the trains that rumble through the Wind River Canyon haul freight, not people. But the highway on the East Bank, opened over a decade after the railroad, continues to carry travelers hungry for beauty and history. And if you're ever driving through the Wind River Canyon Scenic Byway, look closely. You might catch a glimpse of an old tunnel, a collapsed bridge footing, or just the glint of iron rail. That's the ghost of the builders who carved a railroad into the heart of Wyoming. Thanks for joining me on Pioneers of Outlaw Country. I'm your host, Jackie Dorothy. Keep your boots dusty, your stories wild, and remember, every back road has a tale. This episode of Pioneers of Outlaw Country, celebrating the Wind River Canyon Scenic Byway, was brought to you by the Wyoming Department of Transportation and their Buckle Up campaign.
Seatbelt safety starts with you. No matter what type of vehicle you drive, one of the safest choices drivers and passengers can make is to buckle up. Seatbelt safety starts with you. Your kids are watching. Children whose parents or caregivers buckle up are much more likely to buckle up too. Wyoming has vast, wide open spaces and long drives. Please buckle up every trip, every ride, every time.
It's been 100 years since the highway was built through the Wind River Canyon, and we could still see that train chugging along.
I once did know a girl named Grace. I'm working on the levee. She brought me to this sad disgrace. Oh, working on the levee. Oh, I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. I've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away. Don't you hear the whistle blowing? Rise up so early in the morn. Don't you hear the captain shouting? Time to blow your horn. Oh, Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow your horn? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow your horn? Oh, someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Oh, someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Strumming on the old banjo and singing fee-fi fiddly-i-o, fee-fi fiddly-i-o, fee-fi fiddly-i-o. Strumming on the old banjo and singing fee-fi fiddly-i-o, fee-fi fiddly-i-o, fee-fi fiddly-i-o. Strumming on the old banjo, strumming on the old band, fee-fi fiddly-i-o.
This was a production of Legend Rock Media.